Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery, outside today with a brand new bow we wanted to tell you about from Bowtech Archery. This is the all-new Bowtech Carbon One. Bowtech has had carbon bows in the past, but the Carbon One is a totally new bow for them. All new geometry, lots of new features on this bow. It is still a carbon bow, you know, it shoots great, super fast, nice and quiet, and what Bowtech did to make this bow extra special is took a lot of that vibration out of it. We'll tell you all about that in a second, but first, let's give you the specs for the Bowtech Carbon One. The Bowtech Carbon One measures 30 inches axle to axle. It's got an IBO speed rating of 335 feet per second. The brace height is 6.6 inches. The bow is going to weigh 4.5 pounds. It's going to be available in a draw length range on a rotating mod from 25.5 to 30.5 inches. The let off is going to be 85% in performance mode, 87% in comfort mode, and it's going to be available in peak draw weights of 50, 60, 70 pounds. Okay, so as we said, Bowtech Carbon One. Bowtech has had carbon bows in the past, and they pretty much were all single limb design. So you're gonna see right here, we've got the dual limb design. Bowtech has a nice wide limb pocket, wide limbs, wide stance. That's part of what they did to help reduce that vibration in a carbon bow. Of course, again, as we always say, with carbon, you don't necessarily feel vibration like you do an aluminum bow. It's more of hand shock. When you release the string, you just feel the thump of the string in your hand. And what Bowtech did in a lot of their design with the Carbon One is to try and eliminate that. Now, if you've shot Bowtech carbon bows in the past, you know those did have a pretty good thump to them. So that the dual limbs and the wide limb pocket, that's going to help eliminate that hand shock. Now the cam up here, this is an all new cam for Bowtech for the Carbon One, but it does have a lot of the features that we love about Bowtech cams. So first off, you are going to have your rotating module as we discussed for the draw lengths, and there are going to be two sides to it. So you're going to see here that I have this on the comfort side. So that's with the greatest amount of let off. You heard 87%, and it's just going to make the draw cycle a little bit more comfortable, not quite as aggressive. If I flip it over, now I'm on the performance side. That's where I'm going to get my fastest speeds, 85% let off, and that draw cycle is a little bit more aggressive, but it's not crazy. You can still draw that back nicely. So I did set up and shoot this bow, got it tuned, and I spent a day with it shooting it. You're going to notice in the B-roll there that I have my man Ethan King shooting the bows. So this bow came in several days ago, and as I mentioned, I set it up, shot it, spent some time with it. But then just yesterday, I fell on a hike and injured my wrist, so I can't draw the bow back. So we had to bring in Ethan as the pinch hitter. So that's why you're seeing him doing all the shooting, but I did shoot this bow. Towards the end of the video, I'm gonna give my impressions on shooting this bow, but since we had Ethan shooting it as well, we're gonna talk to him, get his thoughts about this bow as well. Okay, so something else we have from Bowtech carried over that we've seen the last couple years. This is an awesome feature. This is the DeadLock Cam System. So what this is right here, you're gonna see a lock. It's gonna be a locking screw. There's a little lock graphic on there that tells you this is the lock. I would loosen that, and then as I'm doing my tuning, I'm gonna have this Allen screw right here. And now this is Bowtech's unique design. So your paper tuning, you've got a left or right tear that you just can't erase, you can't get rid of through rest movements. So we're gonna come over to the cam. Now we gotta start playing with that. So by turning this Allen screw here, Bowtech's design is this axle is on kind of a drive system. As I turn that Allen screw one way, the cam is gonna move to the left. As I turn it the other way, it's gonna move to the right. You can do that right on the line. You know, take your shot, you got a left tear. I'm gonna turn, move the cam a little bit, take another shot, see if that worked. I don't need a bow press. I don't even have to leave the line. all I need is a set of Allen keys in order to do that tuning. So that's a great system. Then once you get it where you want it, come back, hit that lock it down, and that cam is not going to move. So that's a great tuning system that Bowtech now has on pretty much all their, especially flagship bows. Now with that locking system, they carry that over to the pocket. This is what they call their DeadLock pocket system. And right here I have an Allen screw. So if I want to make a draw weight change, I would loosen that screw and then of course come up here to the limb bolt, turn it in, turn it out, whether you want to make it less or heavier. And then when I come back, I'm going to lock it down. And so we've got these screws on each side of the limbs here. So that locks the limbs to the pocket. And then with the DeadLock system, I'm locking the pocket to the riser. When you have everything locked down, you don't have to worry about anything moving. So that's an ingenious system Bowtech has come out with as well. Now the carbon, we should talk about this carbon riser. This is a new design of riser for Bowtech. This is what they call hand-laid carbon. So each one of these risers is handmade. They hand lay the carbon into this shape to create this riser. And it is a unique shape as well. You can see we've got bridges, top and bottom. Again, that helps with rigidity and killing vibration, killing hand shock. And then you're going to get these orbit dampeners. This is a Bowtech unique device that they have here. It is a vibration dampener, and you're going to get two of them. I put one up top and one down bottom there. You can put two of them in there if you want, but just to get that vibration dampening right in the middle of the riser, you know, in between these two posts here, just to kill some of that hand shock. That's why I've positioned them there. Coming down to the arrow shelf, you're going to notice we've got several options for mounting a rest. I do have two burger holes. So if I'm going to mount a traditional rest with an arm and I have space for two bolts, I can put two bolts in there, rest isn't going to move. The Carbon One does also come with the dovetail machined into an aluminum plate. It's not machined directly onto the carbon, you don't want to do that. But there's an add-on plate here that has a dovetail machined into it so that you can use one of the integrate style rests. I got the QAD integrate in there. That's just great for getting a streamlined profile. You know, there's nothing really sticking off to the side. That's kind of the trend these days, is to slim everything down, slim that profile. Bowtech, the clutch grip. This is a grip system they've had for a while. There are different pieces that you can put in here to change the angle of that grip if you want to. You would just pop off this outer piece and then put in another grip, you know, to change that heel. You know, if you want a little bit more in the heel, you can do that. Get the grip to feel the way you want to. But it is a comfortable grip, just styled like it is. This is how it comes in the box. That is going to be a super repeatable grip, great for hand position. Get your hand in the right spot there. Now, bottom and top, you're going to notice this bracket right here that's got three holes in it. I got one down here. I got the same one up top. So up top, what you might use that for is you might want to put a couple of these orbit dampeners in there. If you're feeling some extra hand shock that you want to try and kill, you would put that up top. You can do that down bottom as well, or this would be your mounting bracket for if you wanted to run a side rod mounted off the back of the bow. That's going to be your connection point there, you know, and it's nice and low to get that weight down low. So you would just put your side rod connection mount on here if that's how you wanted to mount it. And then of course you do have your standard front stabilizer bushing there to mount your front stabilizer. So another feature of the DeadLock system, more DeadLock technology, is Bowtech does have what they call the DeadLock cable guard. So they have a cable roller. Your cable is gonna roll through these wheels here, and you don't ever have to worry about, you know, if you're crawling through the brush or something, catching on a cable. It's not going to come out because they have their DeadLock cable containment, which is this piece right here that comes across the back side of the cables so they can't pop out. Again, safety, security, bow hunters out there, we're crawling around in brush, raising and lowering these things from tree stands. Just something to make sure nothing comes undone when you're out there in the woods. All right, so because we had to bring in Ethan King at the last minute to shoot this bow, let's get his thoughts as well on the new Bowtech Carbon One. Ethan, you got to spend a couple hours with it. What'd you think of this bow?
I was very impressed at being a short axle to axle bow. Like you said, I usually prefer a longer bow coming from the target world. I don't really shoot the short bows much, but I was very impressed on how it held, being the high let off, the 87% let off.
Yep.
And it held really good, it shot good. It's also kind of my first experience with a carbon bow. I just got into those this year. I'd never owned one until then, and this is the first Bowtech carbon bow that I'd had the chance to shoot. But it's like you said, it doesn't have the vibration like an aluminum bow does. It has more of the thud, and you don't feel much of that with the vibration dampeners that they have in here.
Yeah.
So it was very pleasant to shoot, and with the DeadLock system that they have in the limb pocket and on the axles, they're very easy to tune. I got to play with one of these a little bit in tuning it, and it's very simple. I was worried that it may move or shift a little bit, but it doesn't. That locks everything down perfectly solid, and it's a great system.
We did shoot this on the comfort setting, which is the most let off. I just think that's probably what a lot of bow hunters are going to choose. You get in that tree stand, draw back, you may have to hold it for a minute or longer. And this is one of those bows I've noticed that, like, when you get to full draw, if you have to let down, it's almost like you got to push the bow to get it to go forward because it sits at full draw so easily.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that I don't like to let a bow down much. I'm just going to punch it off if I need to, but on a couple of the videos that we had to do, I did have to let it down, and yeah, you almost have to push it forward to get it to go, but when you're shooting, it still groups good, even though it has that split moment where it does maybe have to hesitate a little bit, but you can't tell downrange. I mean, it still shoots phenomenal.
So Ethan, yeah, we kind of put you on the spot today since it was just yesterday, the afternoon, that I injured my wrist, and we appreciate you coming out and doing your thing with these bows, because I know that you have the knowledge of how these bows should function and what they feel like.
Yeah, so the audible was called this morning. I woke up to a text from Kyle to come out and shoot them. So instead of going to the warehouse this morning, I just drove straight out here to meet you guys. But yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and see what you do firsthand, and it's very impressive, everything that goes on in the behind the scenes of filming these videos. So Thanks for letting me come out and trusting me to shoot them and my input.
Absolutely. All right, so that is the brand new Bowtech Carbon One. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at LancasterArchery.com.